everybody. Is my microphone working? Okay. Thank you so much for joining myself and the rest of the Leadership with Buffalo graduates this year to hear about their wonderful community action projects they've been working on. I would like to acknowledge today that we are gathering on Treaty 8 land, the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Cree, Dene, and Métis people. This land was walked on, cared for, and loved by countless Indigenous leaders before us. Their leadership has forged a path and held space for their ancestors to thrive and affect positive change in their communities. As a settler on this land, I am committed to my own understanding of colonialism and racism, and acknowledge that I wouldn't be here today with all of you who are leaders in your own lives without the people and the guidance and rich history of the Indigenous people before us. During Leadership with Buffalo, many of us either began or continued our journey towards truth and reconciliation, and cohort members, I invite you and encourage you to keep learning and acting to create a better and more just world for leaders and aspiring leaders who you will undoubtedly influence on your journeys. My name is Jenna Fewer, and I'm the Leadership Coordinator at Fuse Social. Fuse Social is committed to strengthening the capacity of all social profits in Wood Buffalo through education, professional development, innovation, and collaboration. I had the incredible opportunity of working with and getting to know all of the wonderful people that you're going to hear from today. As you may have read in my message in the pamphlet, it is a really bizarre thought to me that these people were strangers nothing but 8 months ago. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have bared witness to the connections that they made and the growth that they felt during Leadership with Buffalo. Before we hear from our Leadership with Buffalo graduates, we are going to hear from Mr. Mayor Bowman. Come on up and say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jenna. Is this on? It's very quiet. Yeah, exactly. So first of all, I want to thank you for the land acknowledgement. That was one of the nicest land acknowledgements I've heard in the last while. Sometimes we get kind of monotone and going through what our land acknowledgement is, but that felt very heartfelt. Thank you. And it's great to see everybody here today. A lot of friends, familiar faces, and people that really care about our region. And that's what I'm most proud of. Most when I travel around Alberta, I'm proud of the people of this region. And today is a great example of that. And to the leadership of a team at Fuse Social, especially everyone involved with the Wood Buffalo program today, thank you so much for everything you're doing. And the Leadership with Buffalo program provides such a valuable service to the community members and results positive impact in this whole region. And we see it every year this has gone on. I've seen people graduate from this program and make amazing changes for our community. Now myself, coming from the world of small business, sports, recreation, and volunteerism, I have a statement that I use quite a bit when I'm working with large groups, when I'm teaching, and if you're on my Facebook, you've seen it 1,000 times, that to build a strong enough team that no one knows what the leader is. And I think that's what this really represents when I look at the holistic of what the Wood Buffalo program here is that aspect. Because everyone does in this room is a part of the team of Wood Buffalo. So I thank you and commend you for all the work you're doing. And also thanks for making the decision to join this program. Your impactful efforts in helping the organizations and initiatives we'll hear about later this afternoon. And I'm looking forward to hearing all that. And today is about you and the community. And I'll just say how appreciative and thankful I am for everything you've done and the time you've taken out of your own time to take part in this. And as this is my first graduation speech of 2023, I have a second quote. And this is from Margaret Mead. If you don't know who that is, you should look it up. She was born in 1901, died in 1978, but she was a very important person in the world when it comes to even animal activism, as well as mindful of the environment, as well as the people that are here and the animals that share the world with us. Never underestimate the power a small group of dedicated individuals can have in changing the world. The fact is, that's the only thing that ever will be. So look up Margaret. She's very a prolific person in history that I don't think gets enough credit. So again, congratulations to all the graduates of the Wood Buffalo Leadership Class of 2023. Congratulations, everyone.
everybody. I have the honor, the pleasure, and the privilege to introduce my amazing teammates here from the Fresh Start program. Just waiting on the screen to pop back up. And our team name, as mentioned, is A Fresh Start. We are working with the Support Through Housing Team Society. So our community action project, the critical aspects of it was a brand refresh, capitalizing on fundraising opportunities, and the creation and distribution of a long-term sustainable sponsorship program to support the STHT program.
Pass it off to me. So I am Caitlin Clark. I work for BGC Fort McMurray, formerly known as the Boys and Girls Club, for those of you that haven't heard of our name change yet. I've been with BGC for almost just shy a couple months of 5 years now. So I moved out to Fort McMurray in 2018. I'm originally from, can you click again? From Manitoulin Island, which is a small, well, it's not small. The island is almost 3,000 square kilometers, but my town is very small, 800 people. So I grew up very rural, town of, 800 people, no street lights on the entire island. So Fort Mac is big to me. My fun fact is that I hate mint chocolate ice cream, and that is merely because I don't really have a fun fact. So that came out of our conversations in one of our meetings, and Tanya and I decided that mint chocolate ice cream basically tastes like toothpaste with chocolate chips in it. So that's my fun fact. And I just want to say that during this program, I've learned so much about myself as a leader and so much about my community in the last 8 months. Prior to this program, I think I can say that none of us really knew much about SDHT or hadn't heard of it at all. And I really think that these connections are so important to the success of our nonprofits. So yeah, it's just been an incredibly rewarding and invaluable experience for me. So.
And back to me. My name is John English. I'm a long-term Fort McMurray resident. I've been here since 2007, 2009 full-time, and been with Suncor the entire time, working in a variety of different roles in the mine, and presently managing a projects organization in the mine. I'm originally from Calgary, Alberta, and fun fact about me is I've traveled to over 40 different countries. My wife and I, who's sitting there in the second row, we're both avid travelers, avid foodies. We travel the world quite a bit and eat and cook and go pretty well wherever we can.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tanya Ryan. I'm so happy to be here today and so excited to present our project. I'm very proud of our project. I am originally from St. Philip's, Newfoundland, which is a little itty-bitty town, but it's just outside St. John, so I like to think I'm metropolitan. So 5 minutes out the road. So a fun fact about me is I have jumped off the stratosphere in Vegas. So if anybody's been to Vegas and you're familiar with that big tall building that's on the other side of the strip, I just jumped off like a pirate platform and down I went. It's a free fall to the bottom. It was a lot of fun, and I would have liked to have done it again, but my friends did not have the patience to stay with me to wait. So maybe one of these days. I just want to say, I'm the oldest in the group, and I've often felt like the mom, but I just want to say that I'm very excited that our community is in the hands of these wonderful people who I've come to know and love over the past 8 months, and I think that Fort McMurray has a wonderful future. Is it Katie?
Hi, my name is Katie Sullivan, and I work for Illuma Safeway. I have been with Illuma for just over 10 years. I started there when I was 18 years old. I moved from Newfoundland, as you could probably hear in my accent. I haven't lost it much. I moved here, like I said, 10 years ago, and I came here right out of high school and started with Illuma right away. I'm the office manager there. My fun fact about me is I've never jumped off the stratosphere, and I've been to Vegas 7 times, so I'm not much of a risk taker there, but again, I've enjoyed this as well, just networking and finding more out about the nonprofit is just amazing what goes on in this town. And I'm very thankful for people like all these people in the room. So.
Hello, I'm Laura. I am with the Regional Recreation Corporation of Wood Buffalo, so you may see me at events around the community, hopefully at some concerts soon. I've been with the RRC for about 7 years on the events team after coming to Fort McMurray in 2010. My fun fact is that I love mint chocolate chip ice cream. I have very difference of opinions as far as the toothpaste comment goes. I just want to echo, my teammates, when they talk about this program, I find it hard to articulate how much value comes from it. I'm so excited to see everybody's presentations today, and we're really excited to jump in to show you what work we've done over the last 8 months. That being said, we'll jump into kind of the value and norms that have shaped out our team. The first being fairness. That was something that we all really bonded over initially. It was just like making sure that everybody felt heard and valued, and that it was a safe space for opinions to be shared and debated. And John and I butt heads over several things over the months, but we still have lots of love for each other, and that sense of just safety and security comes from a fair mindset. Collaboration is the next one. That's another piece that is just absolutely mandatory for success in any sector, especially in the nonprofit world. You see how the collaboration upon these different organizations, as well as Fuse and the community and the branches, are just endless. So that was a piece we wanted to take into our team. Respect is a given. We always want to respect each other's opinions as well, and the work and the time and everything that goes in to being successful in a project like this. And then team growth. So that was something, obviously, it's a goal when you go into a program like this, and it's a huge commendation to, I think, all the personal growth that we've experienced, as well as our growth as a team.
Thank you. I think I'll move so that we're not all crowded together. I did forget to mention that I work at Keano College. And I have been there for 15 years as of next month, and I love Keano College, and it's given me this opportunity. So we'll go back to our presentation. All right, so timeline of events. So the start. So we found a common passion for the services that are being provided by the Support Through Housing Team Society, and I think that passion happened when we met Nicole. Nicole is the executive director, and I think when she got up and presented her project, something just clicked, and we decided that that was the project for us. It took me a little bit longer to decide. It took me another day, but once I saw this team form, I thought that that's what I wanted. So we met with STHT to identify the gaps. Nicole gave us an overview, but we quickly decided that we would go and meet her team and talk about the challenges that they were having and what we could do to help them. We identified our goals quickly. We'll get into some of that further on in the presentation. We identified obstacles, and we'll get into that as well. And we wanted to rein in the goals and identify something realistic that we could give to STHT that would really make an impact. Okay. All right, so our process. So we identified the key strengths within our team. So if you'll notice the presentation is very pretty and well put together. And we did develop a sponsorship package for Nicole's team, and we also developed the website and a logo. So we have some very strong individuals on the team creatively, which was wonderful. And that would be Caitlin and Laura. They did most of that legwork. We provided the input into it. So we were very fortunate because for what we wanted to achieve, we had the perfect people on our team for that. So we wanted to work with the Support Through Housing Team Society, which is why we met with the team. Then we got ourselves invited to a board meeting so that we could talk to the board and we could really get a good idea of what we could do to help them. We create shared platforms for idea and information sharing, and that was primarily our text group that we created, which John had funny little pictures on, and we joked back and forth and really developed our rapport and relationship with each other. We capitalized on opportunities to collaborate with local businesses and optimize community engagement. So John and Katie, I would say, have the most community connections. We all do, but John is Mr. Social, if anybody knows him, and he just knows everybody. So, it really propelled us forward. The future is to provide a brand with longevity to increase recognizability within and outside of Fort McMurray. So we feel that we've achieved that with our sponsorship package, with the refresh of the brand, and with the website. So we're going to hand over all these tools to STHT so that they can continue, and we will support them going forward if they need any help whatsoever. We hope that what we've provided, they can build on. Future fundraising endeavors, we have committed to the future with STHT as long as we can. If they ever need us to volunteer for any events or support them in any way, we would be happy to do that.
Okay, so as we started off this endeavor, there's a handful of goals that we decided to break down. We separated into two larger categories, the quick wins and the longer term initiatives. So we needed to get a couple things going right away. The first thing was to meet and greet the STHT staff, understand their problems, understand what they needed from us, and how we can easily fill in some of these gaps. We hosted a team lunch for them as well, so we get to know them, add a little bit of camaraderie. We brought them some Christmas presents and some stuff by over at that Christmas time in their office and helped them do some decorating. And we also attended, as mentioned, the board meeting. So as far as the brand refresh went, we conducted a full design of the STHT logo and branding. Once again, excellent work by Caitlin here. And we proposed the possible options to the board members for feedback, and we came up with the one that you see on the sponsorship packages. We had the final launch go into the community, and we executed a full design of the website. So the website had been in disrepair for quite some time, and we couldn't even actually access it. We had to do some super sleuthing to crack into it and shut the website down so that we could take it over and get it actually redesigned on their GoDaddy account. So great work for Laura on that, somehow managing to crack into that website and fix it. And so here's the brand refresh. Quite a large difference from the past logo they had that was originally created when the brand was formed in 2002. And it speaks a little bit more to what the social profit is trying to achieve these days. And you can see in comparison to the former websites, loadout, and the former logo. Clip art, yeah.
Yeah, I'll touch on the website piece. Thanks to Nicole for assisting me with breaking into your fossil of a website that used to exist. It was really great to be able to get into that and update the information. A lot of the programming and even testimonials were just very dated, so it was a really key piece of launching kind of a fresh new look for the organization, to have the up-to-date contact information, up-to-date stories and programming and access, and even things like the location and hours and email addresses needed to be updated. So it was a really great opportunity to make it more accessible in that platform. If you click on to the next one, this is a bit of a snapshot of the new website. So it got a little bit of a facelift with the new logo, outlining the current programming and some of the connection places that you can utilize when you're a part of STHT. And on the next slide, just some highlights on the supportive transitional housing programs, and then as well as sponsorship opportunities. So it's a direct link for potential sponsors to connect directly with the organization, hopefully resulting in more funding and just ongoing partnerships. That was a piece that was missing in the original website, so we really wanted to include that into the new launch.
Okay. So a big part of this was how to maintain and continue to sustain some of these efforts. So one thing we've been working with Nicole and her team on is how we maintain active social media presence. And so that's going to have to be an ongoing effort to ensure they keep their brand fresh and they keep their brand out there. That's the only way they're going to keep on being able to bring in that additional funding. A nice how-to guide for easy website maintenance and use. and ready for print sponsorship package. So that's all available, and Nicole's office is already full up with the new logos. There's pens, there's keychains, there's letterheads, you name it. Absolutely everything has already been updated. Even their sign in their office has been fully fixed, so it's great. And fundraising opportunities and promotion hosted. We did that at the Black Horse Pub on April 15th, and some of you were there for that, so we really appreciate you showing up. And here is the look at the sponsorship package.
Yeah, so the sponsorship package is we just put kind of something together that has their mission, their vision, their values. Everything is in there. Support made easy, so how you can support SDHD. And then it's not shown here, but it goes into their specific program sponsorship. So there's a life skills sponsorship for the highest sponsorship is $10,000, and then it's $5,000, $4,000 depending on the program. So they're looking for some program supports. So yeah, they have the outline. They could edit it easily if they ever want to update anything or add anything in. It's all there, and it's easy to use. It's user friendly. So we think that it looks pretty good.
And as a gift to all of you, you can leave with one of the sponsorship packages today.
Yeah, congrats.
So we did have some
Here you go. And as a couple quick thank yous, we'd like to thank Jenna Fewer and the rest of Few Social. They did a great job. The Leadership with Buffalo program was absolutely amazing. And we have to thank the rest of our cohorts and everyone in the 2023 group. And a couple other points of note. My wife for being the best cook in Tracy Aitchison for the fine cricket work on our shirts. Thank you very much for that support. And thank you to all of you guys for coming and attending the presentation. We really appreciate it.
Questions? We have some time reserved for questions if anyone has anything to ask the SDHD team.
Nailed it.
Yeah, Jenna.
Just curious, I guess, like what does your like long-term commitment look? Because it sounds like you guys are like fully ingrained in this, so it would be a loss if you just kind of move on and go back to regular life. What does it look like long-term for you guys with STHD?
Great question, thank you. The idea behind the collateral, like the actual tangible collateral, would be to dish it off. So we'll do probably some in-person training with Nicole's team on how to manage the social media and the website to ensure they feel confident in managing that moving forward, just so it's not adding to their workload, but still makes it like an asset to them. As far as volunteering goes and being involved, I don't foresee any of us backing off in that sense anytime soon. But the idea was to kind of leave it so that it's manageable if in the instance we had to step away. But I think I speak for all of us when I say that's not the foreseeable future. I think our involvement will carry on indefinitely.
Do you ever consider being board members?
She's our board member. Back to John.
Future discussion.
Just trying to go sell the BBC board.
Any other questions?
I just have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Amy.
I thought it was really thought out, like it was well thought out how you didn't just hand it over, that you put everything together in a way that would allow them, like, you know, to be able to use it in, like, so you're not just handing something over and it's done, but they have the ability, we're building some capacity for them, that it's like something that they can take on and use, and that you're providing the training. I think that was really well thought out.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was the key driver of the goal. We wanted to make sure there was something sustainable, that it wasn't just a flash in the pan that would disappear several months later. I think I saw a hand up over there. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, so for each of you, what was kind of your biggest takeaway from the program that you'll use as you move forward in your personal leadership journeys?
Well, I'll start because I have the mic. The big shock to me was how big the social profit community is. There's 140 some odd non-profit organizations in Fort McMurray. They all lean very heavily on each other, and this community wouldn't be this community without them. And every single one of them needs help and needs some support. And without these sorts of things, they wouldn't exist. And we actually need them for the community. It's a very different part of the community than
question, if you don't mind. First of all, I think you all did so amazing, and I'm so happy that you chose STHT. I feel like they're one of those organizations that are so small but so impactful that really literally change and improve people's lives. Do you think that with this Break Refresh, I mean, it's obviously already doing amazing in terms of sponsorship, do you think that it will encourage, or I guess do you anticipate more participants going through the program? And do you think STHT is prepared for an influx of participants?
I think that would be for you, Nicole. Nicole said with money. So,
So, hi everybody. On behalf of Team Soulful, we'd like to welcome you here today. We appreciate you all taking time out of your busy days to join us, so we really appreciate it. My name is Aaron.
My name is Kate.
My name is Joanne.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Nicole. And together we make Team Soulful.
So, firstly, just to introduce myself, my name is Aaron, and I'm from a little island off the coast of Newfoundland called Ireland. I've called Fort McMurray home now since 2019. I'm currently a corporate controller for GPM Industrial, who work supporting the mining industry here in town. I previously worked in investment banking in Ireland and was recently involved with BGC Fort McMurray. The Leadership Wood Buffalo program has been an amazing journey for me from start to finish. The opportunity to learn, collaborate with the brightest minds in Wood Buffalo is an absolute privilege, especially the ones on stage here today. I've taken so much from the program. I got to see the spirit, the talent and the heart that this community has firsthand, and the wonderful work that the NPOs do here in Wood Buffalo, especially the food bank. With that, I'd like to pass it over to Kate Kimball.
Thank you, Aaron. So as Aaron mentioned, my name's Kate Kimball. I'm a social program advisor with the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo. The other titles that I hold are mom to a hilarious 2-year-old, wife to a pretty okay husband, and coach at a CrossFit gym in Fort McMurray. So I've been in Fort McMurray for about 11 years now, originally from Nova Scotia. I've been heavily immersed in the community services world since I arrived 11 years ago. So the community connection part of Leadership Wood Buffalo wasn't really new to me. My overall experience with Leadership Wood Buffalo was unexpected. Prior to beginning the program, I was thinking I would spend the majority of my learning days doing training sessions about conflict resolution and taking 90s magazine-style personality quizzes about what type of leader we are. In reality, each learning day was like group therapy for me. I feel like the program gave me a greater understanding of myself, my character, and my abilities, disproving my previous imposter syndrome-like view. I'm so grateful for the learnings and the incredible people I've met along the way. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce one of those incredible people, Joanne Hammond-Wall.
Thank you, Kate. So again, my name is Joanne. I am the Manager of Retail Operations and Tenant Services at Keano College. I've been there for almost 5 years. I grew up in Labrador, so the climate in Fort McMurray is very similar, so there wasn't too much of a culture shock when I landed here 16 years ago on a 3-year plan, like most other people. I'm proud to call Fort McMurray our home, and we've raised 4 children here. Besides enjoying the outdoors of Wood Buffalo, I certainly love to go to the mountains, hike, kayak, and cook. Again, with everybody else, I know that when we go into this program, you really kind of have some pre-ideas of what this is going to look like. I thought, again, like Kate, it was going to be, boring seminars and stuff like that that we've all done as leaders. I was very, very surprised. One of the most impactful days for me was our Community Action Day, where we visited 3 different nonprofit organizations. We visited the Salvation Army, we visited Children First, and Local Hero. And that day was very impactful for me, just to see firsthand the dedication, the commitment level of the people that work in those organizations was very, very inspiring to me. So that being said, we also had Indigenous Learning Days, which were very, very spiritual, and I know that affected all of us deeply. I would like to now introduce to you one of the new friends that I made, Melanie, who's going to tell you a little bit about herself.
Thank you, Joanne. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Melanie Drever. I'm the operations coordinator at Fuse Social. I've worked with Fuse Social for just over 3 years now. A little background about me. I'm the first one here to present that's actually from Fort McMurray. I've been here since 1978. I'm the mother of 3. I have a 24-year-old daughter who is married and now raising her family here, and I have 2 teenage boys at home. And I am the proudest grandma of a 1-year-old today. It's his birthday. And in my free time, I enjoy doing all the crazy things that these boys get me to do. So skiing in the winter, we do wakeboarding on our boat in the summer. And really, I'm just enjoying right now spending as much time with them as I can because they will soon be leaving me. When I signed up for Leadership with Buffalo, although I work for Fuse Social, I didn't know what to expect. When I went to the opening retreat, I had assumed that we would be doing things to learn about our own personal leadership style, improving our communication skills, conflict resolution, those types of things. That, however, was not the case. I personally was really unprepared for the emotional journey that I would take over the next 7 months. I found the learning days to be inspirational and often extremely emotional. As anyone in the cohort here can attest to, I cried at most days. Over the course of the program, I learned so much about myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, and how to really lean into those to become a better leader at work and in my community. I became more self-aware and have a greater understanding of who I am as an individual through the program. I learned how to push myself through the uncomfortable to become not just a better leader, but a better person. I am so incredibly thankful to be given the opportunity to be part of this year's cohort and grow alongside this incredible group of people. I'm now going to turn it over to Nicole to tell you a little bit about herself.
Thank you, Melanie. Welcome, everyone. As Melanie said, my name is Nicole. I am originally from Corner Brook, Newfoundland, born and raised there, but I have called Fort McMurray home since 1996. I'm a mom to a little 4-year-old firecracker, Parker, and a wife to a wonderful husband, Jason. I'm the executive director of the Support Through Housing Team Society, otherwise known as STHT, and you just seen me get a check. Yay. And I have had the pleasure of being involved with STHT since before its inception in all reality, which was 2002. I've worked in and around social profits in many capacities since 1999. I absolutely love this community and everything it has to offer. I can safely say, without a shadow of a doubt, in my travels throughout our country doing different learnings, that our community is the most giving and compassionate. When I began this Leadership with Buffalo journey, I had absolutely zero idea what I was getting into. Like Kate said, I thought it was going to be about sessions and courses and learnings and all those kind of things that you always do, but I quickly realized that this program was taking me on a personal journey. I am very grateful to Jenna and the whole team at Fuse for providing us the opportunity to take part in Leadership with Buffalo, the people I have met along the way, and the people in my cohort I can now consider are my friends. Sorry, I got to flip the page. Our team came up with our team charter, which is broke down into group norms, values, and a tagline. Our unspoken rule that guided us and how we interacted and collaborated as a team and worked together on our project were simply stated as encourage active listening, respect each other's confidentiality, collectively make decisions, participate in group meetups, planning discussions, and lots of chat in our WhatsApp group, and being accountable to ourselves and to each other as teammates. Our values were very simple: honest, compassionate, teamwork, respect, transparency, but most of all, we wanted to have fun. And I would have to say, I work with four great people. And lastly, we came up with a tagline, is on our shirts, but is really small. But we are soulful, but our tagline was 1 can, 2 can, we can, you can. And our tagline was simply our way of expressing how 1, two or more people can all make a difference to each other and within our community.
So the agency our team chose to work with for our CAP project was the Wood Buffalo Food Bank. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of background about them. The food bank has been serving our community since 1983, so 40 years now. Over the past few years, we've seen an increase in food insecurity in our region due to inflation and the high costs of groceries and other economic factors. The food bank has seen a continual increase in the number of clients they are serving through their hamper program month over month. So just a few stats that we took from the website. So in 2021, 2022, they had an additional 237 intakes. They provided over 7,000 hampers to low-income families and fed over 13,000 individuals in our region. The mission of the Wood Buffalo Food Bank is to provide the resources and education necessary to ensure food security for all citizens in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo. They are doing this by offering a number of different programs to their clients. The traditional hamper program, which I think most of us think of when we think of the food bank. They provide the mobile pantry, which provides low-income families in the rural communities of Conklin, Jonvier, Fort McMurray First Nation 468, Anzac, Fort Mackay, and Fort Chip access to food hampers. They provide financial literacy programming to their clients, emergency hamper program. They have the Snack Attack program, which addresses the increasing need for snacks in our schools to address hunger amongst kids and youth. And they provide community crisis support. And most recently, if you've been to the food bank, they have this beautiful new kitchen there, and they're offering cooking classes to their clients. It's pretty amazing. So the idea that we came up with, or that was presented to us that we chose, I guess, really, was to create an online booking platform where clients could book their food hamper pickups online. Currently, clients have to phone in and speak with somebody to book an appointment. So having an online platform would help streamline their process and reduce the time that front-end staff need to be on the phone with clients. This would have allowed the food bank to reallocate staffing resources to further benefit clients and the community. I'm now going to turn it over to Kate, and she'll go into more detail about how our project progressed.
Thank you, Melanie. So when we were originally presented with the proposal, it seemed like a simple implementation project. Review the need, analyze the current system, create a booking site, test it, and then launch it. The original plan was to have the booking site ready to be tested by February, do a soft launch with clients from the food bank, hand over the final product, and launch it publicly in March. When reviewing the project proposal, we assumed we would be developing a booking site from scratch and linking it to the Wood Buffalo Food Bank website. We learned after the first meeting with the food bank that they were already using a system called Link to Feed to manage client-related needs internally. As the system was already in place, there needed to be coding changes made to mirror the user booking site. Many of these changes needed to be created and implemented by Link to Feed. While waiting for technical support from Link to Feed, we created a communications plan for the project and planned on creating and printing appointment cards, postcards, and posters for the program. You take that first page. Thank you. Thank you. Next slide, please. So with the initial plan in place, we set the measurable of 60% online booking usage, as that was the hope of the user uptake from the food bank. If we were successful in the development, we would have actually been one of the first to launch it in Canada. In the ideal world, complete success would have looked like an evaluation of the current system, a communications plan, advancing the current system capabilities, and developing the back-end usability of the food bank for the food bank staff. One of the biggest challenges we faced were system limitations. The system the food bank uses is mandated nationally and is developed and managed by an outside source, Link to Feed, which reduced the potential for changes. In addition, the unique services that the Wood Buffalo Food Bank provides do not align with the preset Link to Feed software and user booking needs. Another challenge was the time frame versus the knowledge and complexity of the system. Knowing the number of changes required compared to the complexity and limitations of the system, the time frame was just too short to have it ready for the March launch. I'm going to take this opportunity to pass the presentation back to Joanne.
Thank you, Kate. So just for the CAP conclusion part of our project, we had to have obviously multiple conversations with the food bank, multiple conversations with Link to Feed. So they were all very collaborative and open to helping us. Over the course of the project, we met with them many times and in person at the food bank to try to overcome some of these limitations. We finally put forth our request to say, can we get this done in the timeline that we need? And their answer was no, that they could not. Mostly it was a Link to Feed issue with, I guess, the resources and the IT support that they have. So once we found out that, we really couldn't do any more. The food bank, we did communicate that with them, and they're very understanding. They've been very collaborative through this whole process, and they did thank us because we were very disappointed in the fact that we weren't able to actually launch it. But because the food bank, like so many social profits and nonprofits in the region, just don't have the time or the capacity staff-wise to implement some of the things that they like to do, we were able to at least do the research and get it to the point where once they get the back end issues worked out, the food bank will be able to launch it very successfully. So we wanted to also thank the food bank for all their answering all our millions of questions and being very patient and kind with us. So for soulful conclusion, since this is a wrap-up of our project, we wanted to let everybody know that we created a very positive working environment as a cohort. We met all the time. We were in constant communication. If one person couldn't meet, again, because of dogs and kids and issues, we met with who we could, and again, met with the food bank and Link to Feed on many occasions. We developed an extensive plan through regular meetings and discussions, and we also, sorry, I can't read that now, part of old age, creating a detailed timeline so all cohort members were aware. And we feel that, we were still very successful in the amount of work that we were able to complete in the timeline that we were given. And I'm going to pass it to Aaron, who's going to do our thank yous.
Thanks, Joanne. So just want to formally thank some people here in the room today and outside who helped us get to where we are today. So first, we'd like to thank our employers for allowing us the opportunity to participate in the Leadership with Buffalo program. Keano College, the Support Through Housing team, Fuse Social, the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo, GPM Industrial Inc. and BGC Fort McMurray. We'd also like to thank the Wood Buffalo Food Bank and Link to Feed for being so patient and helpful with us during this process. We'd also like to thank the funders of the Leadership with Buffalo program, the Province of Alberta, the RMWB and Suncor. A special mention for Kate Zachary for supplying our team swag today, and a huge thank you to our instructor Jenna for an incredible year. And lastly, to our families for putting up with us every day and supporting us throughout the last 8 months. I'm going to pass it to Nicole.
Hi, as you all may or may not be aware, this upcoming weekend, the 29th and 30th of April, is the Food Bank's Spring Food Drive. As a team, we chose to take a volunteer opportunity and go to the food bank and realized how important, how impactful it is for our community to provide donations and volunteers to their hamper program. As I had said, the food drive is on the 29th and 30th, and the food bank will have vehicles parked outside of all grocery stores in our local community, including Walmart and the Anzac grocery store. And we would encourage everybody to volunteer if they possibly can, and I am going to pass it to Joanne for the next part.
Thank you. So as part of our commitment to helping the food bank, we just wanted to give everybody an opportunity to sign up. I know that they'll never turn away a volunteer. So we have these cards. I put them on the snack table because I know everybody will head there at some point. It includes a QR code, so you can just scan it, and it just links you to a Sign Up Genius. So if you have even an hour or something like that to spare, bring your kids, bring everybody to help out and make this food drive very successful. So we have a very special announcement, and I'm just going to read from the notes because I don't want to make a mistake in the name of the organizations. So Team Soulful has received for the food bank, we have a donation of $1,600 from GPM Industrial Incorporated, and we also received a $1,000 donation from Waiver Rentals. So I just want to invite everybody to join us in thanking these organizations for this amazing contribution. So it's a total of total of $2,600 for the food bank. So we're wondering if Dan, who's here, can come up and accept this donation for the food bank. You're supposed to act surprised. We can do a Vanna thing if you want. Yes, if you have any questions, we'll open the floor. But we just want to thank everybody, especially the food bank and all of you for listening to our presentation. And we're very, very thankful that we were able to at least help in the ways that we were able to up to this point.
First off, I just want to commend your group for all the work that you did, but also for not only sharing your successes, but being really transparent, sharing some of the challenges that you had, working on trying to innovate programs and services and delivery. Great ideas don't always transition to instant success, and a lot of times there's lots of roadblocks and recalibrating along the way. So I guess my question is, based on your kind of experience going through that process, trying to innovate this service, what was your biggest learning, or what would you have done differently in future?
I don't think I would have done anything necessarily differently. I think it's just a learning experience, especially when it comes to technological challenges. I wish we could have, owned the program, and if we had created the program, we wouldn't have had that. But I think that, we have a lot of success in at least helping the food bank get to this point, and, I'm more than willing to help them in the future when it comes to hopefully getting this off the ground.
The other thing that I'd like to add, something that I've known for a while, but it was just a reminder, is being realistic about timelines. So we knew that this project was going to be hard and it was going to take us a little bit longer than maybe we expected in the beginning. But knowing that you're setting those achievable timelines and smart measurements along the way might have been a little bit where we went, not necessarily sideways, but we knew what we needed to do, and we knew we just didn't have the time to do it. So, but hopefully, if everything worked out the way that we hope it did, I think we set them up for success should they continue to go with this program in the future. And like we mentioned, it would be the first one in Canada that would be launched through this Link to Feed system. So the goal was to pioneer it, but we just didn't get there yet. So.
Anybody else? Aaron? Anything to add?
Yeah, as I said, just pretty much time management was one of the biggest challenges. We'd probably be able to utilise our time a little bit better in the 8-month time span but as I said, the challenges kind of presented itself as the work unveiled. But as I said, the testing and all the identified problems are right there. So just with some extra investment with Food Bank and Link to Feed, I think they're right there. And I'd hope to see the programme hopefully launch before the end of the year.
Sorry, I just want to add as the benefactor that the group, they did have to work within an existing system that is very robust, and as they mentioned, there were limitations to it, and they really did. As nonprofits, there's a labor force issue and resource allocation that it just was something that we wanted to do. I just didn't have the resources, so them being able to take that on and really get to this point. I was very strong to encourage them that it wasn't a loss. It just got us to a point that I would still be a year away from or longer without their support. So we are super appreciative in the work that they did, and being a leadership grad myself, sometimes the learning is just there isn't an end product, but it's okay because it's about what you did as a team as a whole. And doing this work and supporting the food drive on the weekend, April 29th and 30th. Thank you all.
Hear me okay? Otherwise, I will take a microphone if not everybody. Yeah? Can I get a thumbs up at the back? Wonderful. We will start. Tante, planete, bonjour.
Hello. And just letting you know right off the bat, we don't have any big checks to present today, but we do have some laughs, hopefully.
So for Indigenous people, the summer is filled with events, festivals, and powwows. But as winter approaches and we begin to hibernate, so do the animals. And that gives us a chance to quiet. And as the snow falls, there's a little bit more quiet. And then traditional stories can be heard and shared. It is also when our group chose to embark on the journey to further connect Indigenous processes and ways of knowing into everyday event planning. As such, it is only appropriate that we named our group Papoon, which is the Cree word for winter. Papone possesses a passion for advocacy for Indigenous people. We believe that through thoughtful infusion, anyone who delivers experiences or events within Wood Buffalo should take with them a deeper connection to our region. It is also said that if you hold your hand out and spread your palm wide, your 5 fingers become weak and vulnerable. But when you grab into a fist like this, you can have great impact. And so the 5 of us truly resonate with this. And so over the last 8 months, we've been developing leadership skills so that we can further enhance in Wood Buffalo. So I'd like us to meet the team.
So Tante Melanie and Sikasa, Nia Métis, Esquewan, and Ochiweo McMurray Métis Local 1935. So I'm learning my Cree language right now. So what I said is, hello, Melanie is my name, and I'm a proud Métis woman and a member of McMurray Métis Local 1935. And Melanie Drever and I share many things in common besides our name. I'm too born and raised here in Fort McMurray. So I've been here since 1994. And my grandmother was from a small town outside of Blacklevish. My mother has lived here since she was 5 years old, and my dad had moved here when he was a teenager. So, and I just bought my first home here in Fort McMurray on March 1st. So I'm just looking to develop my own roots really deeper into this community, and I'm just so proud to call Fort McMurray home. So I have a background in communications, and I had a lot of fun being the morning news anchor at Country 93.3 97.9 Rock for many years. Some of you, my voice might sound familiar. So it was many years there and many early mornings, but it wasn't just enough for me to talk about the community. I wanted to be more a part of the community. So I am so honored and blessed that I get to now serve my community every day as McMurray Métis Culture and Community Coordinator by hosting educational, cultural programs and opportunities for all to gather and connect. I really want to be an inspiration to other youth. In our Métis Nation, we are considered a youth to your 30s, so about a year and a half left, and I'm holding on to that. And I just really want to encourage all of them to keep learning and growing. So that's really what motivated me to join Leadership Wood Buffalo, to grow my own skills so I can continue walking forward and helping carve the path with my best foot forward.
Hello everybody, my name is Brittany Kozak. I'm a proud First Nation Israel from a northern reserve in Manitoba called Norway House Cree Nation. I know some of you might be thinking blonde hair, blue eyes, a little bit questionable, but I promise I am Indigenous. I've been a resident of Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo since 2011, and I quickly fell in love with this region. I'm the Director of Employment and Training with the Athabasca Tribal Council and have had the privilege to work for that amazing organization for the last 5.5 years. I've centered my personal and professional life being a strong advocate for Indigenous people and Indigenous communities. I strongly believe that Indigenous representation, involvement, and perspective is necessary in all environments, and as such is always at the forefront of my mind. My role and responsibilities at Athabasca Tribal Council has helped to shape my growth and expand my knowledge by providing me with many opportunities to continuously learn. Being a part of this Leadership Wood Buffalo cohort has been a testament to that. My learning journey is lifelong. I respect the belief that learning is by far the best medicine of life. This attitude has provided me with a continuous growth and a passion to always learn.
Hi, my name is Teresa Buller, but a lot of my friends call me Terry. And I consider almost everybody here now my friend, so feel free to call me Terry. It's much less formal. So I'm from a town called Georgetown, Ontario, and I moved to Wood Buffalo over 10 years ago. And when I first moved here, I really didn't know what to expect, and then I really grew to love the community here, and I'm sure I'll be here for many years to come. I have a wonderful husband and a beautiful 3-year-old son, so very proud to be a mother and living here in the region. I have a deep passion for arts and culture, so much so that I work in the municipality as a coordinator, working in the field of arts and culture. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be doing that and to be doing that for the past 8 years. I formally focus in public art, and so if you have any ideas, feel free to come and talk to me. I'm always open and looking for ideas. I'm also always interested in collaborating. I do feel, I have a personal belief that collaboration really does cultivate some of the best outcomes for a community. And not only that, but it's also my perspective that creating inclusive programming is essential to all great communities as well. So that's what attracted me to this program.
Yes. Hi, my name is Kelly Higgins. I am fortunate enough to work for Suncor. I work in the HR department as an HR strategic partner. Fort McMurray has been my home for the majority of my 20 years of living. I'm just kidding, I'm not 20. And I really hope that it will be my home for the majority of what I have left in my life, which I hope, again, is more than 20 years. Being a long-term resident of Fort McMurray with Buffalo, I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen the lots of ups and downs that this community has faced. You know, we've had fires, we've had floods, we've had the boom, we've had the crash, and everything in between. But one thing that sticks out to me is how this community always comes together in every opportunity that it can. And I know it's cliche, but we truly are stronger together. What drove me to want to take part in Leadership with Buffalo is I'm interested in continuing to help develop Fort McMurray and make it a community that thrives and that individuals choose to live here. They don't come here just for work and have a 3-year, 5-year plan. That they want to be here and they want to raise their family and they want to invest in this community. I believe that the Leadership with Buffalo has helped with my leadership development, but it's also helped me make some really strong community relationships. I am, and I was, and I still am thrilled to be a part of the 2022-2023 cohort. And I get to learn and grow alongside some of the greatest leaders that I know in this community.
Hi, I'm Nick Vardy from Hamilton, Ontario. Unfortunately, I can't be with you today as I am sick, so I'm using this creepy AI. I've called Buffalo my home for 9 years, along with my wife Jennifer and our children. My work and connection with Indigenous peoples have given me a deep appreciation for my culture, community, and my Indigenous identity. My goal for Leadership with Buffalo was to develop my skills and help advocate for our Indigenous communities.
So I'll give a little history of the formation of our CAP project. So our Community Action Project, the formation of it was very organic. During the 3-day opening retreat, the entire Leadership with Buffalo cohort was presented with some amazing CAP initiatives that we felt as a collective didn't really resonate with our desire and for our journey to the truth, for the journey to truth and reconciliation. The foundation of our team was fueled by our passion for working and serving our community, being advocates for Indigenous people, and pride for calling Fort McMurray with Buffalo our home. We quickly began to brainstorm ideas on how we could partner with an organization to incorporate more Indigenous culture, traditions, and awareness. With Fort McMurray Summers already having to have more and more Indigenous representation, including but not limited to ATC Cultural Festival, McMurray Métis Fest, local First Nation treaty days and powwows, several types of walks and gatherings in solidarity. With all of that being considered, we decided on reaching out to the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo, but more specifically the Winter Play Committee, with the idea to present a proposal and hopefully secure a partnership.
So it was in mid-September, just maybe a week or so after we actually first all came together as a CAP project, when we first had our meeting with the RMWB, where we really introduced ourselves to them and pitched ideas on how we could get involved and incorporate even more Indigenous culture throughout their event. And winter play was also really just around the corner. And the RMWB shared with us what their current plans to incorporate Indigenous culture into the events. And after our initial meeting, we were tasked with putting together a proposal that including lots of different components that they could utilize, and we give them 3 different options. And on September 27th, that's when we pitched that proposal, and we were super happy to hear that the RMWB had took a lot of the ideas that we gave them at our first meeting and already put them into action by including an opening prayer and honoring the ground before they did any work to the SNI, making the arena for sure out the SNI, things like that, incorporating Indigenous language throughout their signage, having dog sledding, setting up the RMWB teepee, and an Indigenous artist to create ice sculptures. We actually had hoped, before I go on, this is the map, and you can see that they honored Fort McMurray by including the traditional Cree name for Fort McMurray, which is Nistawayo, and it symbolizes where the 3 rivers meet. And then they had Babaski, which offers kind of land-based learning. So they had trappers tent set up on the one weekend, and then the following weekend we were actually set up by the ice skating rink at Borealis Park, which is really great. It was a really good location because it was right by the wagon rides, so people got to see us as they drove by, and they all went by our nice warm fire. And then they had the dog sledding as well, and they even had Ginger's Bannock House as well as one of the food vendors. They did a lot of different ways to incorporate it throughout their festival. So we had hoped that we would have a stronger presence at the event, but again, budget and space and time constraints made it difficult to achieve our original vision. But during our next meeting that we had with the RMWB, they had reviewed our proposal and were really excited that they were able to give us that prime location on the same path of the sleigh ride, and so we could create a cultural village there.
So we finally got a letter of agreement with the RMWB, and so our team had this fantastic opportunity to showcase Indigenous culture during our 2-day event, which was held on March 4th and March 5th of this year. I will say, it's cold always here, but those 2 days were by far the most coldest 2 days in that 2-day period for us. We had a trapper's tent donated and set up, which enabled us to provide a unique and immersive experience that allowed participants to learn more about Indigenous traditions and cultures. The Trapper's Tent was an excellent opportunity for participants to, sorry, that was noise. It allowed participants to take part in some activities such as Bannock on a Stick, we had storytelling, and we also had s'mores. It's pretty yummy. We were lucky enough to have Jess Croucher, a renowned storyteller and Indigenous educator, facilitate our fireside storytelling, which captivated the audience and provided a deeper understanding to make this event a success. If anyone has had the opportunity to work with Jess, she is completely captivating, and that she did in that 2-day event, telling her stories. I know I was captivated. It is worth noting that the Trapper's Tent is essential for promoting cultural awareness and inclusivity in communities. It was a proud moment for us to be able to showcase Indigenous culture to a broader audience and encourage people to learn more about the traditions and customs of the Indigenous people. Our event it turned out fantastic. We had a lot of people show up. We had a lot of people stick around. I think the Bannock on the Stick was fun. Lots of kids got to come and participate in it. I know that personally I've never got to do Bannock on a Stick over the fire. It truly was an amazing event. You could ask Brittany how hard setting that fire was in minus 30 with a windshield of I don't know what. But we eventually got it started. But this event itself was a great example of how events can unite communities, promote cultural understanding and awareness, and celebrate diversity.
So my experience as part of this cohort and a part of Cocoon was incredibly uplifting. For me, it's never easy to leave McMurray Métis. I get a lot of FOMO when I leave the office. And I was just coming off a really busy time when I started leadership with Buffalo, And kind of what Caitlin said, I was kind of anticipating that we would be going into a room for 3 days, sitting at a desk and just picking like ourselves apart. That wasn't my experience at all. The facilitation of the days was so entertaining, engaging, and inspiring. I felt they flew by. And it was just really unique and powerful that the opening retreat focused on how leaders can harness their strengths rather than focusing on picking apart our weaknesses. And as leaders, we are often the ones who take care of so much, but it was so refreshing to show up to the learning days and relax, knowing that we had a really thoughtful day of inspiration, motivation, with tons of tasty treats and food to fuel us. And the comradeship amongst this cohort is just incredibly heartwarming. We are able to connect on a deep level in such a short time and form bonds and friendships and allyships that I know will go on for as long as we continue to call Fort McMurray home. And hopefully that will be a really long time. And I truly appreciate all my fellow cohorts for their understanding, their vulnerability, and their strengths. And again, I have to touch on the allyship as well. I'll never forget the oohs and ahs from the rest of the cohort when our CAP group shared our team name, and maybe as an Indigenous person, that might be some of the intergenerational trauma I felt. I remember my heart was kind of pounding when I presented like our first idea to the rest of the group, but their support that we received from the project has been so lovely and encouraging and has just made me so happy. It's so comforting to know that there's so many strong leaders walking the road to truth and reconciliation together and doing the work to learn more about Indigenous culture. So I'm just so extremely proud of the 5 of us and the work that Cocoon has accomplished in such a short time. From the idea to the execution, it goes to show what can be accomplished when you have like-minded individuals working and collaborating like a team to achieve a common goal. And their sense of humor is almost as strong as their sense of professionalism, and I've enjoyed working with this dream team immensely. So as much as Fort McMurray is the homeland too of Indigenous people, it's a fast-growing multicultural city, and I will cherish sharing my culture here in my hometown around a campfire with many different people and neighbors who are all proud to call Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo home and embrace the cold. And seeing them enjoy Bannock for the first time ever was almost as sweet as the jam that we put on top. So I'll say, from my heart to yours, thank you, Kanana Swimton, for making my experience remarkable.
Wow. All right, here we go. So my experience is unique and unlike any other leadership professional development training I participated in. It really did elevate my skills, my confidence, and my abilities to lead and be a part of a team effectively. It challenged me in many, many ways and definitely forced me out of my comfort zone. If you didn't already notice, public speaking isn't my cup of tea. Definitely not my glass of wine yet, but we're working there. With all that being said, I was extremely proud to be a member of Cocoon. We were able to execute our vision while partnering and collaborating with Winter Play to incorporate more Indigenous identity into their event. I'm hopeful that Winter Play will continue on the legacy of including more and supporting more Indigenous culture, traditions, and representation in their event. And I also hope they know they can always reach out anytime for further guidance and support. I just want to end with my appreciation of the diversity and intelligence that the entire Leadership with Buffalo 2022-2023 cohort exhibited. Thanks.
On a personal note, I'm extremely proud to have participated with this team. They've been exceptional and extremely fluid in our roles, so nobody had a specific role. Everybody did and contributed equally. It was quite an interesting process to participate in, especially coming from a different type of system. So I really loved working with this team. Also, it was really humbling experience as well, advocating for event ideation when you're coming outside of the system and coming in. So, you know, we managed to traverse through some struggles, but also came out on top and really, really networked with our organization quite closely. We hope to continue that relationship as we move forward. Leadership with Buffalo as a whole has been an incredible experience for me. I honestly had no idea what I was getting into. When I asked past alumni, they're always like, oh, you're just going to get what you get out of it or get what you put into it. And so I never really understood what that was until I journeyed through. And then I really began to connect the dots. I connected the relationships. I connected to myself personally I really understood a personal journey as we went and did all of these different sort of programs. And my hair got longer, so that was good. That was an effort. My waistline got a little bit smaller, so that was also nice too. So that power of in realizing and recognizing what you can do personally was also a part of this program. So I have nothing but appreciation for this program and for the people who participated with me. I guess one of the dots that I've also connected is that, so I am a product of going to summer camp, and if there's one thing, this is kind of like summer camp, but for adults, but just with less sunburns, so, yeah.
I could echo everything that each of these fine ladies have spoken about, but I would say that my time in the Leadership with Buffalo program has definitely exceeded my expectations. There were many opportunities to learn, to grow, not only myself as a person, but as a leader and most definitely as a community member. One of my biggest takeaways, and I think you've heard it in several other presentations, was for someone that grew up here, when we went out to the community in the social profit sector, like it was eye-opening and a little bit embarrassing that I actually didn't know that all these organizations existed. And of the ones that I was aware of, I didn't actually understand the magnitude or the extent that they are supporting this community. And through my participation in the CAT project, I definitely have a newfound respect for the Indigenous culture. You talked about allyship, and I think the Indigenous people in this community have gained. We debated this earlier. We have gained a new ally for sure from me. I definitely, without this team, wouldn't be where I am today on my journey of truth and reconciliation. They made it a safe place for me to ask tough questions, hard questions, silly questions that maybe I wouldn't have asked in another open space, but they have been there and have taken me on this journey. So thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I do hope to see more Indigenous culture in different events, not just Winter Play, but any event happening in this region going forward in the future.
Being a part of the 2023 Leadership with Buffalo cohort and Peopling has been a transformative experience for me. I appreciated how the program focused on building on our strengths rather than weaknesses. I am proud of Peopling's partnership with Winter Play to incorporate Indigenous identity into the event, which will continue the legacy of supporting Indigenous culture and traditions. The connections I made with my peers were invaluable, and I have formed lifelong friendships. Thank you all.
We do have a closing message here for everybody, which is, it's been really quite interesting in my midlife, which is the power of passionate people, and you can certainly feel that power within this entire room. On behalf of my team, I'd like to extend gratitude to our silent partners who made this also possible. To the Winter Play Planning Committee, thank you, Roxanne, Megan, and Tara, and the rest of the team. We're so grateful that you opened your hearts and your budget and listened to our recommendations, and also found opportunities to include some of our ideas, not only now, but also for future events moving forward. To Cheryl Hupy, who beautifully handcrafted the tastiest bannock I've ever had. Well, today, maybe I'll try, maybe later. But anyway, she also created these ready-to-go bags, which were incredible. So her dedication to sharing her culture was amazing. Also to Joey Hamlin and to the Métis Trackers, thank you for setting us up with a tent where we could find refuge from the cold. To Jess Croucher, who is a remarkable advocate for your community, thank you for sharing your traditional stories by the fireside and always making yourself available for events like this. And of course to Jenna, our fearless leadership coordinator, thank you for managing to wrangle us in and to always offer just those gentle nods of affirmation, allowing us to make the program our own. And finally, a huge thank you to all of our employers. our family, our friend, etc., who gave us freedom and patience to allow us to go on this journey. Thank you very much. No questions? All right.
One last one. Nick can answer
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, we'll open it up to questions if anybody has anything to ask the team.
I have a question. How quickly did you have to get Nick on the screen there? That's pretty amazing. You guys did a fabulous job with that.
Yeah.
Yes, he's really
Nick did all
Yeah,
that.
did that.
Yeah. Very creative. Okay, well tell Nick he did a fabulous job.
Steve from SUTI.
Right?
Okay, I'll ask. I guess I would be really interested because you've got both, I think, non-Indigenous and Indigenous folks in your group. So what advice would you give to another organization who has to work with similar dynamics in introducing more Indigenous content into some of their community programming? What advice would you give them to start out?
I think just being like open and willing to learn and understand Indigenous culture and awareness. And like back to what I originally said, like representation is so important, and that is the first step to truth and reconciliation, is that understanding, being open to have those uncomfortable conversations, ask questions, not being nervous or afraid to ask questions, because most Indigenous people are very open to wanting people to learn about our ways of life. Anybody else?
No, I think you did a really good job, but I think too, just us as Indigenous people too, we have to remember to be humble and show that humility. And we're all walking this road together. Like due to like the intergenerational trauma, we are also reconnecting with our own culture. So we really are on the road together. So should never be afraid. No one should ever be afraid to ask a question because we're all learning together. And yeah, just I think representation is so important. So if you are Indigenous, like have that courage and pride to embrace your culture and show it. And if you're not Indigenous as well, just yeah. And it's just so lovely to see these two as well in our ribbon skirts, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, I think coming from the non-Indigenous perspective as well, it's been really a humbling experience, but also it's really important to not be afraid and to feel comfortable asking hard questions and have that dialogue, and also to get that perspective from multiple different communities and not just one viewpoint, because there's so many different ways to collaborate and different viewpoints to consider. So yeah, that is one thing. Yeah, I've certainly learned.
And I would say get yourself a Brittany and a Melanie.
Yeah. And a Nick.
And a real version, the real version. Yeah. But I would echo everything that everyone else said. And like I said, this team has been super supportive in my journey. And like I did feel silly asking questions at some point, but like your demeanor and the way you made me feel at ease was super helpful.
And give another round of applause for all the other groups already went, because holy cow, what an act to follow. I was initially excited to go last, but now not so much. And thanks everybody for showing up today. My name is Danielle Ehler, and I'm just one member of Team Legacy. You'll be introduced to everybody very shortly. Sorry. Our team was founded, our project was founded really on the belief that there was an exponential amount of skills and passion that exists in our community from what will now be 16 years of untapped untapped Legacy Wood Buffalo, Leadership Wood Buffalo, I'll stumble a little bit, alumni. And that we felt if we could harness the skills and passion that exists in that alumni group, we can enhance the benefits to our community to the Leadership with Buffalo program itself, as well as the participants. Totally had a brain slip there, sorry about I'll have to hand things over now to Candice. Oh, sorry, I was going to walk you through. Candice is going to take us through an introduction to the team, as well as the project formation. I'm going to come and step back in to share with you the project evolution. Kira will take us through deliverables and sustainability, and Jake will take us through our challenges and successes. Finally, we'll all come back and share our key takeaways from the project.
Thank you, Danielle, sorry. Introducing the team, Team Legacy, that is. So first we'll have Danielle.
Here I am again. My name is Danielle Euler, like I mentioned. I am originally from Newfoundland, and I've been a resident of Fort McMurray for the last 16 years. I am currently a Suncor employee and happy to be a participant of the Leadership with Buffalo program.
Then we will have Kira.
Thank you. I'm Kira Barlow. I'm a proud wife and a mother of a 13-year-old daughter, Taya. I was raised in Prince Edward Island, and I moved here to Fort McMurray in 2007. My plan was that I was going to be here for a year, and that was 16 years ago. And I want to give a shout out to some of my first management team that I've ever worked for with Syncrude, who actually ended up making me stay in this community, which is absolutely terrific.
Thank you. And Jake.
My name is Jake Mellett. I'm a Suncor Safety Advisor for the last 7 years. I was born and raised in Calgary. And my next point is I've been in the community since 2006, 2007. Officially in 2017, my family and I moved up here, and we only have one regret, and that's we didn't move up here sooner.
Thank you. The journey started with 3 like-minded employees from the same company who did not previously know each other. To discover and develop my leadership skills, I had to analyze and focus on the community action plan that aligned with my desire to make an impactful difference in the region of Wood Buffalo. I was undecided right up until the last moment, and with a little je ne sais quoi, I made the right decision to be a part of something that had never been done during the 16 years of program tenure. And just like that, we became 4. I am Candice Archer, Program Facilitation and Development Coordinator at the Wood Buffalo Food Bank. For the past 2 years, Fort McMurray has been my home. I'm from the province where our slogan is, yours to discover, also called Ontario. As a team, we were passionate about our next steps, but we were nameless. We needed a name that embodied who we are, what we do, and where we're going. When creativity hits, ideas can come from the most unique places. My inspiration came to me while watching one of my favorite reality shows. It will remain anonymous. The connection was made and Team Legacy was born in honor of Sena Eleche to commemorate her legacy. Sena Eleche was an educator, trainer, entrepreneur, and leadership development specialist. Leadership with Buffalo was created by Sena Eleche, founding executive director, with the dream of encouraging, developing, and growing emerging leaders into the social profit community. The ripple effect of one woman through her intentionality and strong leadership continues to impact our community in all sectors, today and into the future. You can click onto the next one. Okay, this is already there? Okay, so the formation of our alumni project concept was originally presented by Jenna as an opportunity that was never achieved in the past. We proudly accepted the challenge. As Team Legacy set the formation of our alumni project concept, we decided that to maintain our cohort cohesiveness, we established, these cue cards, I have to keep my fingers are changing them, group norms and core values that fostered our beliefs and purpose for the mission of this project. Some of our key group norms were access and availability in regards to our communication, establish each role of the group, ongoing parking lot facilitator, roundtables per topic, and meetings, expect meetings to be confidential. What happens in the group stays in the group. Our core values are communication, accountability, dedication and commitment, respect in a safe space. Our weekly meeting agenda connections were made through the Teams platform, adjustments made based on team requirements or personal or work obligations. We celebrated personal and professional wins and empathized our challenges and life dynamics. Our team charter outlined our overall mission. Our start date was September 17, 2022, and our end date is today, April 27, 2023. Our sponsor was Fuse Social and highlighted our key objectives, meeting cadence, group norms, method of communication, deliverables, milestones, core values, group strength, leverage, and our steering process. Danielle will set the focus on the evolution of the project.
Thank you so much, Candace. So when our project started, we really quickly aligned and created a strong sense of purpose. And it was that sense of purpose that actually guided us through the evolution of our project and helped us to navigate change and steer us towards our end goal. If I had to sum up, I guess, the theme of the evolution, the word I would choose would be pivot. Just like in a basketball game, when you have your end goal, you know that goal is not going to change, but how you achieve that goal is going to change based on the circumstances you're faced with. And that's surely true for our project. Excuse me. Like I mentioned, we quickly came to a sense of purpose. With that purpose came enthusiasm, excitement, and we truly lit up with the possibilities that we can see in front of us from such a huge pool of talent. But we had to quickly realize that we couldn't do all things. To help us focus, we utilized an opportunity radar. We, together as a team, plotted those opportunities based on the perceived value and complexity that we saw. And that helped us narrow our focus to what we felt we could achieve with the resources that we had and that would make the most value to the community, the program, and the participants. So that's it, right? We've got our focus, we've got our purpose, we're ready to go. And that is where I'd like to introduce Pivot 1. Pivot 1 is really centered around ensuring that we have the proper feedback from our stakeholders. Our stakeholders in this case primarily were the Leadership with Buffalo alumni group in general to see what their interests, wants, and needs were, as well as Fuse Social. Fuse Social was obviously our contact or connection for the Leadership with Buffalo program, as well as to the social profit sector and understanding their needs. To connect with the Leadership with Buffalo alumni, we set out with some targeted emails and surveys to understand what, like I mentioned, like the what wants and needs were of that stakeholder group. It came with some limitations and some obstacles. What we found was that we did have some outdated contact information, and we also did get some limited responses. However, that didn't discourage us. We felt that we had sufficient responses from the alumni to really gauge where we were headed in that space. The next connection was with Fuse. We had an engagement session with Fuse, which we were really excited to go forward and present these opportunities that we thought were fantastic. There's no way that anything's going to change. We've got the right path forward. But through that engagement session, we not only presented those opportunities, but we got to hear Fuse, hear what they wanted, what priorities they had, and feedback on what we had to present. So now we had the feedback from all the stakeholders and had to go back and say, what does that look like for us now based on the opportunities that we saw in front of us? So now we've had purpose, we've got stakeholder engagement, we've got focus, we're moving forward, we're going towards the end goal. And that's where we introduced Pivot 2. Pivot 2 is really centered around understanding what our limitations and our resources are. So as we were progressing these initiatives, despite our enthusiasm, we did find that we were hitting a few roadblocks. So we reached out to our leadership coordinator for some clarity, and through some conversations, we realized that some of the initiatives that we were chasing, although our end goal wasn't changing, there was limitations in how we were pursuing that, and some of those items were actually outside of our realm of influence. So again, the end goal didn't change, but we had to pivot and change how we were approaching it. Through those conversations, we also actually found out that some of the initiatives that we were chasing, we were trying to build from the ground up, when there was resources already in place to support that development. So what that meant for us was, again, readjusting and realizing that we could have a more polished and professional deliverable at the end if we were able to use the resources that were already available to us. So we did that. We've got purpose, we've got focus, stakeholder engagement, we understand our limitations and resources. Headed for the finish line, Pivot 3. Pivot 3 is really about adjusting to what's outside of your control. So we really had some high targets for ourselves, I should say. And we really hoped by the end of this program there'd be a couple of these initiatives that would be in flight, that would be able to show some tangible benefits to the community already. But due to circumstances that were outside of our control, we had to press pause on some of those. And so as a group, we kind of got back together and say, what does that mean for us? And what that meant really is redefining what success looks like. So success initially looked like to us at that point in time, or sorry, I should say prior to that, that we wanted to have those things in flight. We wanted to say, look what we did kind of thing. But really what success looked like was how do we set someone else up for success to be able to execute these initiatives in the future. So that's really what we focused on, that success is really handing over a package with the necessary documentation and metrics to put somebody else in a place that they could be successful in the future should they choose to execute it. So here we are. We're at the finish line. We're at presentation day. And I'd like to say that we worked so well together as a group. We kept focus on our end goal, on our purpose. We kept forward momentum. And I can honestly say I don't think I've worked with another group that had that consistent positive outlook on the end goal. And I think as a result, we ended up with a blend of initiatives and deliverables that really spoke to the purpose of our project, as well as incorporation of our stakeholder feedback. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Kira.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I can't remember everything like she does, so I have to have it written down on a piece of paper, but very good. So as my cohort explained in the previous comments and slides, Team Legacy saw the opportunity to leverage the growing strengths of Leadership with Buffalo alumni for the greater benefit of the Leadership with Buffalo program and to enhance the impact on the community through targeted engagement. This cohort that we are celebrating here today is the 16th Leadership with Buffalo cohort. Hundreds of amazing leaders have gone through this program, and Team Legacy wanted to tap into the leadership of the past and bring community awareness of the program and its longevity. So congratulations to everybody here. Our team embarked on a journey in collaboration with Fuse Social, shout out to Shauna, Jenna, and Sarah, to create a new and energized branding for Leadership with Buffalo alumni, which we believe will increase the visibility of the program in the community and strengthen the connection of Leadership with Buffalo alumni. With a clear identity and purpose of Leadership with Buffalo, we may or may not have a little surprise coming at the end of this presentation. Sorry, it's not a check, but it's a little something. That's the problem going last, right? Our goal was to enhance community mindedness and amplify the impact to the social profit sector in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo through structuring an executable mentorship program, executing a Leadership with Buffalo alumni networking event, creating alumni branding, revising the advisory committee expectation and guidelines, and increasing the probability of board matching with future Leadership with Buffalo cohort members. We heard loud and clear from the Leadership with Buffalo alumni that there is power in numbers, and there was an ask for the Leadership with Buffalo alumni networking event. I am proud to announce that the first annual Leadership with Buffalo Alumni Network event will be held this year prior to the Heart of Wood Buffalo Awards on June the 7th. So we hope to see you all there. This event will not only meet the ask of our participants, but also provide a venue to highlight the impact of the work Leadership with Buffalo members are participating in within the community through CAP projects and volunteer work alike. We are excited to celebrate this success with you. Membership was high on the list of opportunities for each group, Team Legacy, the Leadership with Buffalo alumni, and Fuse Social. Working closely with Fuse Social, we realized many of the building blocks were readily available. Through research and firsthand experience, we were able to refine the tools at our disposal and create structure for an executable and repeatable program. From the beginning of this project, success to our team was that we were able to collaborate with Fuse Social to ensure that everything was in place to have a successful first year of the mentorship program by identifying and engaging the first intake of mentors, and by creating a program that could be sustained through the years with potential for growth and expansion with Leadership with Buffalo itself. With the development of the mentorship program, Team Legacy then realized that it was necessary to revamp the Leadership with Buffalo Advisory Committee requirements and the expectations by revising their existing term of reference documentation to set clear expectation for viable and successful programs and events, which has now been completed and submitted to Fuse Social for final review and acceptance. This will be the alumni's key to the Leadership with Buffalo alumni future and longevity. Finally, we heard Fuse Social express interest in enhancing long-term community engagement from Leadership with Buffalo participants. With that, we have provided a change proposal to include a half a day to the Leadership with Buffalo program closing retreat to allow organizations within our community with open board positions to present and engage to the Leadership with Buffalo cohort. This will give insight to the needs of the organizations within the community and provide face time with potential candidates to increase the likelihood of successful board fulfillment and reinforce the community's connection. Thank you. I hope I was able to articulate the team's legacy. Sorry. Just one more second, then I'll be done. I hope I was able to articulate the team's legacy's community action project deliverables and sustainment at a high level. And with that, I would like to pass it along to my friend Jake to discuss our team challenges and successes.
Of course, anytime this team faced a challenge, we looked at it and said, good. Because by saying good, we had an opportunity to build a solution. One of the such challenges is when four strangers came together, and anytime you have four strangers come together, having new relationships until you get to know each other poses a unique set of challenges. But happy to say, we all built our trust and our relationships real quickly. So we have our team, we have our idea, and we have our partner with Fuse Social. Now we need to build our market analysis out. That market analysis was a tool we used to see who's still in the region for alumni, who's still interested in being an alumni, and what sort of facets of alumniship were they interested in. With that, we were able to determine the top two responses were networking and mentorship. So with that, we have our footing, and now we have our goalposts. And I'm sure every single one of us in here can agree with a head nod that we all live busy personal and professional lives. Life happens, stuff happens, so time became the new commodity. I can't just limit one's success, and I don't want to cash out all of the success any of our groups did. But I'm going to group a few here. Group norms, our Gallum strengths, our frequent check-ins, and our weekly cadences afforded us many opportunities. Along with any good relationship and any good marriage, communication is key. And with that, it also afforded us the opportunity, as a tactical advantage, to adjust to the pivots that we had faced. With our partner, with Fuse Social, we also worked towards building a specific set of branding for the alumni. That has twofold purpose. One, it's like a badge of honor for the alumni. No spoilers there. And two, it acts as a promotional point, selling Leadership with Buffalo. Because people are going to see, I voted for tattoos, but that was shot down. But you will see here. Another thing from that was also we were able to deliver a product, a program, guidance tool to our partner. And like my friend Kira just said, one of the key successes and one of the things I see a lot of excitement about was having that hour ahead of the Heart of Wood Buffalo Awards for alumni to get together once a year to swap fishing stories, reconvene, reconnect, and keep engaged. And with that, we're going to move into what did we learn? And I'd like to change this slide to a name and say, what did we not learn? And we want to share, and I'm going to share with you right now. To my CAP group members, I learned a lot about project management, project controls, how to stay on task, how to stay organized, and how to prioritize your tasks. to Fuse Social, leadership with Buffalo, and specifically to our pillar, Jenna, with all the tools and training and knowledge that they have given us. I have a deeper sense of myself, which I am now more comfortable and proud of the leader that I'm growing into being. And the next really cool thing, a lot of people have said it today, is how deep our social profit roots grow in this community. All the touch points they have is absolutely awe-inspiring. And with that, my name is Jake Mellett. I'm now a proud Leadership Wood Buffalo alumni member. I'm going to pass it over here.
Oh no. You weren't supposed to see that. I'm Kira. I was honored to have the opportunity to be a part of the 2022-23 Leadership with Buffalo cohort. I started this journey thinking this experience was going to be like many leadership courses that I've taken in the past, but I quickly realized that it was nothing that I had experienced before. I'm walking away from this experience not only a more effective leader, but a better person. This program makes you reflect on yourself, how you treat and view others, and how, as one person, you can make such an impact to those around you, whether it be professionally or personally. If you have the chance to be a part of Leadership with Buffalo, do it. It'll change you for the better. And to my cohorts, I was also one of those individuals that had many tears and realizations over the program, so I want to say thank you. With that, I'll pass it on to Candace.
Okay, what did I learn? Personally, leadership is an action that evaluates our natural strengths, talents, knowledge, and attributes. The Leadership with Buffalo Development Program engaged in a deep understanding of the human side of leadership, self-reflecting and identifying your weaknesses and your strengths so you can improve, to be empowered to show up as an active member in the community, creating a platform to foster culture, ideas, creativity, diversity, and inclusivity, to be interconnected through your own personal and professional success. I am Candace Joseph. Sorry, oh my God, that's my old last name. Sorry, I am Candace Archer, and I am 2022-2023 alumni.
Before you get...
Sorry, I've been married for 2 years, so it's easy to go back to Joseph.
So I also forgot to mention that I am Kira Barlow, and I am the Leadership with Buffalo alumni.
I think some of the key takeaways that I have are not unfamiliar. We've heard a number of times throughout this afternoon. The program really challenged me in ways that I didn't expect. Like many, I thought I was coming into this for a couple sit down, learn what the proper way to communicate is, learn a few tips and tricks about effective leadership, and on your way. And what I found was a program that challenged me to go outside of my comfort zone, but in a way that it was such a safe space. So kudos to Jenna and kudos to the team for making that happen. I also shed a few tears along the way, which is not normal for me. So that just gives you an indication of the comfort and ability of this group to transform people. It really, to walk into a room of strangers day one and walk out knowing that you have a group of friends and allies that you're going to take with you far beyond the program is a really powerful thing. The other takeaways for me for this, I think, is just the challenge that I faced intentionally through the program to do some inward reflection of what you believe leadership to be, and defining what your leadership intention is was very powerful. The other things I didn't expect really was the understanding of our social profit sector. Like somebody else already mentioned, it was almost a little bit embarrassing about the lack of knowledge and awareness that I had. Being here for 16 years, I thought I was very informed. And I would say I'm walking away from this with a tremendous appreciation for the members of this community that show up every day to ensure that this is a thriving and prosperous region. So I definitely take that with me along my journey. Before we open up to questions, I guess, we would like to have a little bit of an unveiling. As a couple of our team members here had mentioned, whenever you want, you can press the button. As a couple of our team members have mentioned, one of our initiatives was branding for the LWB alumni. And really the intention, as already mentioned, is to create that long-term connection between the alumni and the program itself, as well as to raise raise community awareness of the program through some visualizations. So, we would like to unveil the LWB alumni pin, and we would love to call our fellow cohort members forward, and we would like to present you with the very first LWB alumni pin.
creating an alumni group is an excellent idea. It gives us access to an untapped resource. As we know, this particular group of people are passionate about making a difference and connecting to community, and have also had some exposure to the particular needs of your public, so you're aware of what community. This database of alumni also refers to people who have specific leadership training and experience, and so they should have leadership skills to help drive the essential project into fruition.
This connection makes me share for every member of the alumni in their own goals and provides me with a feeling of support as well. When we surround ourselves with inspiring people, we are inspired to be our best selves, and leadership with Buffalo attracts the best people. Crystal McCready, LWB Alumni 220 owner/operator, life and fortunes.
I think back to my particular cohort that I was involved in back in 2014. Something that really stands out is the strong relationships that I built with a lot of individuals, and primarily those that I actually don't work with. It gave me a really good appreciation for what some of the leaders in different social profit sectors experienced and how different they were from my own, coming from more of an industry background. So when I reflect on the benefits of an alumni, being actually able to expand my own, or collectively all of our own network to get access to more leaders, it really makes me think about iron sharpening iron. Like it's something that will benefit not only individuals, but largely the community as we're able to introduce leaders.
All right, no questions? All right.
Yeah, we'll open the floor. Anybody have any questions?
Amazing job.
Yeah.
I feel so special with this thing. Like, such a good job.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Oh, and there's the mixer information there. Yeah.
So do you feel like now Fuse Social will be moving forward with this leadership alumni program, and they're equipped to manage this moving forward?
We think so. I mean, that was the whole goal of our program, and what we were trying to, be able to give a deliverable, but also sustainment. And so that's, maybe Jenna can speak to it, but that's what we feel that we've been able to offer and deliver, and even having the first mixer event, having those things in place to be able to move forward is going to be something that's exciting. And to these pins, we're the first class that has them. And now we get to be able to have the opportunity of 16 years of leadership, who, like many of us within this room today, were, starting our management and our leadership journey. So just imagine the years of 16 years that they've had to be able to develop even more so. And that's what we really wanted to be able to hone in on.
I would just say, from the Fuze perspective in response to that, absolutely, not only are we equipped to take it on, but we're really, really excited to build off the work that you guys have put into this. And it's really special and exciting that it's come from within the leadership program as well, and that we get to take it and build on it moving forward. So congrats to all of you for all your work on that. It's been amazing.
Okay, and that is the end of the day in the Community Action Project presentations. I, again, feel really blessed to have been able to be a part of each and every journey that has happened here, whether it was the individual journey or the journey as the CAP team and the cohort as a whole. Seeing your relationships form and yourselves blossom has been a really humbling and fun experience for me. So thank you everyone for joining and listening to the amazing work that they've been doing. I hope that you are feeling inspired, and if you are feeling inspired, applications for the upcoming cohort of Leadership of Buffalo are open. Shameless plug. I do have some applications here if you're interested, and if not, you can find them online at fusesocial.ca. I just want to thank all of our funders and as well the organizations that put their employees through this program. It really means a lot to Fuse Social and to the community as a whole to know that these leaders have the support of their workplaces behind them. So thank you, everybody, and that is it. Congratulations, cohort members.